ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Larkin, the host of On the Mic with Mike. Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On the Mic with Mike, which you can hear on www.stevenmikeshow.com. And as always, it is a pleasure doing this for you guys. We get to hear a lot of great guests from wrestlers, musicians, and in the adult industry. And this is one of my guests who is in the adult entertainment industry, the lovely, the beautiful, the talented Miss Danni Dawson. Danni, it's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
You are very welcome. First and foremost, let's hop right into us. Can you tell us how you got into the adult entertainment industry?
It kind of was an accident. It was a webcam girl. It was one of the first girls that my free cams actually promoted that wasn't thin, young, and blonde. Well, I was still youngish. And then I moved back to Los Angeles and I met Jeff, and then the rest kind of was history. I did my first scene within like a week of meeting Jeff, and then I've done a bunch of stuff since then, so.
I gotta say, first and foremost, I've seen a lot of work that you've done with Jeff's models and a lot of great talent that are in the BBW industry and the overall adult entertainment industry. Can you tell us what was that like with working with him?
Jeff has been amazing to me. In the time that I worked with Jeff's models, it actually was a really, really great experience. And I actually don't have anything bad so far really to say about any of the talent that I've worked with, nor any of the production companies. And I hope that continues to be the case because I've actually had I think so far I've had a really successful run. I think most of the breaks that I've taken have been more personal breaks and less about the industry.
I gotta say with you, because I can tell by talking to you, you're very passionate, that you love what you do, and I also just appreciate, I think that has to how it has to be without not just the adult entertainment industry, but just in life, just the positivity, and I could sense the good vibes from you. I think that's what a lot of people can learn and take from this, and just enjoying the overall experience.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm really, really blessed and fortunate that I do work in the adult film industry because I want to, not because I have to. I actually have a really good normal job and life, and I'm surrounded by people who love and care for me. And I know when I wanted to make that transition into adult film, everybody was really supportive. And, we just thought I was going to make one film, maybe 2, 3 at max. And it took on a whole life of its own. So that's we're just all along for the ride. At least that's how I see myself. I'm just along for the ride. And as long as the ride continues, I'm in.
Well, to quote the great, Life is a Highway, the great song, Life is a Highway, I want to ride it on my own. Well, you're taking that journey that is that highway, and I think that's how we all have to look at it. I also look at you, which first and foremost, we discussed this even before you even came on the show. My mindset has always been beauty, strength, and dominance, the 3 key elements that make women the work of art that they are, and I'm applying this with you as well, Danni. I think, like I said, you're a beautiful woman. You do what you do in the adult entertainment industry, and I know this is early on in the show, but I just want to truly wish you nothing but continued success on that front.
Thank you. I really appreciate that always.
You're very welcome. Now, what's great about this is, now I'm going to tell you right now, this is my pop culture nerdiness coming out, so forgive me for this, but the first time, you actually hear the term BBW was actually not with, the adult entertainment industry and the different type of categories that are applied with the adult entertainment industry, but for those that remember the Family Matters episode with Donna Summer, God rest her soul, there was an episode where she was Aunt Una, who was Steve Urkel's aunt on the show, and she was, a plus-size woman, but, the pastor didn't care, because he said, I like BBWs, big, beautiful woman. So the actual first time I actually heard the term was on an episode of Family Matters. So it's kind of interesting to see how, they use that term in real life and in TV shows and that aspects.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, I think that it's becoming an overused term, unfortunately. I think we're seeing a lot of girls who are just curvy, beautiful women being called BBWs. And the term BBW is not even, I don't think, in some ways, even properly defined. Because sometimes we're seeing girls who are not overweight, they're just curvaceous normally, nothing's hanging out of place and they're being called BBWs. So I think that, though we're getting better as a society, I still think that term is so overused. And then we see girls who are super thick and they definitely fall into the BBW category. They're very voluptuous, they have a lot of extra, and they definitely are big and beautiful, and nobody's saying that they are or they're not. But at the same time, I think when we're seeing girls who are super thin, now defining themselves as fat or overweight, I think we're getting better as a society, but we have a long way to go.
Okay, first and foremost, this is also another reason why I like you because when you talk about society and you talk about getting better, what's interesting is too, like, I mean, again, to quote my pop culture nerdiness, I'm talking about Nelly Houghton here. Like you mentioned, curvaceous, I can start saying ass, vivacious, but I digress. That's the thing. We have a lot of great, beautiful, and curvy girls with it. I mean, you know what it is too? I've always looked at it like my mother and my grandmother were two of my biggest influences, so my respect for women come from them. So I've always just looked whether it didn't matter the size, the creed, the race, the nationality, what have you. I think people just have to just appreciate women and people for the work of arts that they are putting us on this planet, God's planet here that we call here Earth. I know it's a very spiritual way of looking at it, but I think that's the kind of open mindset that we need as well.
For sure, and I think that there's a lot of like categorization of people and of things, and we all want to fit into a box, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how we are as a society. So I think that like women are beautiful regardless whether they're like thin, they're not, they're curvy, they're heavier, they're big boob, big ass, big whatever. Like women as a whole are a gorgeous art form, as you know, and it's less about her physical body, characteristics, and more about how she carries herself and how she's spoken. And think those are things to me that are sexy. It's like when she's like well spoken and she knows things and she's confident. Like those are sexy things, even if she's not, the most beautiful thing on the planet in society's,
Mm-hmm.
realm. Like I guess what's attractive to me and may not be attractive to you or to the next person. But I think that we spend too much time trying to categorize ourselves as, I'm this kind of person, I'm that kind of person, or I'm, this or that. And there's too much of trying to like, fit into a category that we can't just be the free people that we are.
Of course, and I also look at it, I guess, from the male point of view. I mean, I'm young, and I'm 27 years old, going on 28 this April, right? So I guess in my like lifespan on this planet Earth, I just, you know what it is too. It's just with the fat shame that goes on. It's like, why fat shame? Like again, looking at people and women for the work of art that they are. But for me, I always look at like the voluptuosity factor. Like I'll be honest with you, Danny. I look at you. You're a beautiful woman. You have that voluptuosity factor. A lot of people have that, and I think intelligence is key. There's a lot of traits that just from the physical standpoint that people look at, but you look at intelligence. There's a lot of qualities that you can look at women that are sexy. So intelligence, it could be this, it could be that. It's not also just about the physical appearance that one can attract to one another.
Yeah, I totally, completely agree with that because she could be the hottest chick on the planet, but if she's dumb as shit, what's the point?
I think it kind of.
Like you, if you can't have a conversation with her, you can't enjoy her. What's the point? It doesn't matter if she's like the hottest thing you've ever seen. It's like if you can't connect with her, what's the point?
I think it's kind of like, and again, this is just showing the nerdiness again and more pop culture here, but it's like when you watch, like VH1 used to love doing the Rock of Loves and the Flavor of Loves with Bret Michaels and Flavor Flav there. I mean, it's great, but listen to them have a conversation. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like there's not a lot of conversations. Mostly that show was just driven about who he was going to pick and the reality aspect of reality TV. It was more about the physical standpoint. It's like, can you actually have a conversation with this girl? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that's probably another example.
Yeah, can you build a life with her? Can you understand
Correct.
what the hell she's saying?
Exactly.
I mean, those are the things. Like, if you can't have a conversation with a person, it doesn't matter how attractive they are physically. It's like it's a done deal for me. I'm like. And you have to have some sort of ability to have chemistry with them, and that is sexy. Like her ability or his ability to, engage in conversation and to be able to build some sort of rapport and connection with you is the sexiest thing ever. It really is less about physical beauty. You can be hot, you can be ugly, it doesn't matter. But if you cannot connect with me or connect with another person, there's nothing sexy about that,
Of course, and I also look at it. You to make a music reference. Look at the Temptations. Beauty's only skin deep. I mean, look at that song. She may be fine on the outside, but so untrue on the inside. I mean, those are validity behind those words.
Exactly, very much so.
And you know what else it is too? Like you talk about sexy. I think also the eye to eye contact is nice when you're actually looking and like you're investing your time and your energy and you're invested in that conversation. You're invested in said person. I think that's also what makes it worth having.
Exactly, because if you don't have good connection with them, you can't have good anything with them. You can't have good sex with them. You can't have a good relationship with them. You can't have any. You really cannot have anything meaningful. They could be like the best looking thing on your arm. It's like a handbag. It's like it looks great, but what's it doing for you?
Exactly, and you know what it is too. Like I look at the adult entertainment industry. I know there's a lot of awards, whether it be from the BBW awards, the AVNs. I know there's a lot of great conventions. There's Exoticas. There's a lot of FetCons and all this and stuff. Now I got to ask you, what do you think about all these? Like the AVNs is like the Emmys and like the Oscars or what have you. It's the mecca for the adult entertainment industry. And with the relations with the BBW awards, what do you think about all these award shows?
I don't want to say anything bad about anybody, but I did all of that my very first year in porn. Like, I couldn't wait to be everywhere. It was so about being seen. I went to every convention, awards, party. We did Dr. Susie's. If you remember, like, she hosted my 35th birthday. Like, we did so many things my first couple years in porn. And as I'm been in the industry longer, I'm more about the craft and less about being seen. Mm-hmm. So you've seen me kind of take a little step back, but I think the conventions are great. I mean, it's fun for the fans and stuff, and I think if the girls are truly into it and they're into being at the booth and they're passionate about what they're doing, it can be a really, really good time. But I think that if you focus less on building yourself as a brand, I think that, my biggest thing, the biggest advice I have for a girl who wants to get in there is to be your own brand. If I've learned anything, it's about branding. And you have to invest in yourself, and you have to be your own brand. And it doesn't matter if you're in the adult film industry. It doesn't matter if you're an actor, you're a singer. It doesn't matter what form of media you're in. You have to be invested in yourself and be willing to build your brand and do the work that it takes to build your brand. It's like any job. And the girls who you see who take it really seriously and go to those conventions and mingle with the fans and are, friendly and about getting their, card out, their OnlyFans, whatever their thing is, those conventions are amazing.
Agreed.
So, like, they really are.
And I think that's great. Like, I know I've seen you get your exposure out through said conventions. And when you talk about honing your craft, I also look at it like, you put a lot of work. And I'll say this about singing work. You put a lot of work into the scenes that you do. And I got to tell you, for that, I think it comes out with a lot of great quality and a lot of great work from you. So I got to give you much props on your scenes.
Yeah, like, I really enjoy it. It's funny, I enjoy sex as a craft. And, I'm attracted to men and to females. And I have a good time filming, and I really enjoy, what I do. And I never, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, I never would have thought I was going to be a porn star. Or even if you would have asked me when I first did Jeff's Models, like, I never thought that it would take on the life that it has. But I feel like, I'm very invested in myself and my brand and doing, shooting good content, like good quality content, and being passionate about my scenes. And then when you meet me at conventions and stuff, like the way that we're talking right now, this is how I am all the time. I'm like never fake. And, I have moments where like I'm a little crass and funny, but at the same time, it's like I'm totally like the real deal. And I think that my fans really connect with me because of the fact that I don't try to be something I'm not. I just am the way that I am.
Of course, and I think that's what also you want to talk about sex appeal. I think what attracts humans to one another is the realism, and I can sense that from you. I can tell you're very genuine. So again, very appealing, and it shows within your craft.
Yeah, I definitely think, and that's how I want people to see me for how I am. I don't want to be fake. Like, even in person, I'm not pretentious. I'm not stuck up. I never I genuinely enjoy being there, and even at the conventions, like I'm a very private person. Like, I'm not I don't go to bars and things like that. And I'm older too. Like, I'm gonna be 37 this year. I'm not even young, so I'm not a partier or anything. But when it comes to connecting with my fans or in my scenes and stuff, I'm genuinely enjoy being there, and I'm super excited for this year because I'm gonna start producing all my own content, and I'm so excited. I have a million storylines and so many quirky things that I want to do, and 2020 is going to be a great year, and I can't wait to show my fans even more than what they're already getting, and they've been getting.
First and foremost, just to comment on you being 37. First and foremost, early happy birthday. I got to tell you, first and foremost, another one. You look great. You look fabulous. So that I just wanted
Thank you. I know everybody's like, no way. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be 37 this year.
That's what I'm saying. I truly mean that. You don't look 37. You really look fabulous for what you do, and I got to give you much love on that from as well.
Thank you. I really appreciate
Uh,
that. And time has been very gentle on my legs, and I'm very appreciative for that.
you're very welcome, and that's the thing. Like I said, I love just talking to you. I love the confidence about you, and I think it shows, and it resonates, and you evoke a lot of emotions with your craft, which I also believe. Just going back to the craft for a second, I think whatever anybody wants to do in their life, whatever endeavor that they pursue, you gotta just love it. You gotta apply yourself, get the craft, put in the time, put in the effort, and it really varies with your results, and you get to see a lot of great results.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you do. If you're a basket weaver, a plumber, whatever, it doesn't even matter. As long as you're passionate about what you're doing and that you're willing to take the steps to make yourself even better at your craft and learn from other people and educate yourself, like the sky's the limit. It really is. It really doesn't matter what you do. And I think like porn is it's a skill we all have, right? Like we all have sex at some time in our life, or often or not often. It's not even anything that is challenging. It's something that we all do. It's a skill we all have, but it just depends on how you're into what you are and what your motivation for being in the industry is. And I think you see the girls who they think they're going to get fame and fortune and all these things, and they realize that having followers on Twitter doesn't really lead to making money, and if you're not able to like brand yourself and things. And it's the same way with anything that you do. Like it doesn't matter if you're a porn star, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, basket weaver, it really doesn't matter. It's really about you applying yourself to your craft and being passionate about it and being in whatever you're doing for the right reason and not being focused on the money. Because especially in porn nowadays, with Pornhub and things like that, you're going to find that the money is really not there unless you're willing to build yourself as a brand and work your ass off.
Agreed 100. I think the DIY phrase, do it yourself and just working your ass off, also would apply to that. But it's funny because when I got into podcasting, I mean, I had parents, and I love my parents. My parents worked in radio for over 20 plus years, right? I'm going on 30. So what's interesting is I wanted to get into podcasting and inspire and encourage and give people the platform to tell their stories. Kind of like what we're doing now, Danny. But what's interesting is I started interviewing a lot of people in the adult entertainment industry, which, again, I'm a guy. We're all guys. We go through puberty. We do watch adult films, and, it happens, speaking from the male point of view. So I always loved doing what I do, and, I wanted to get into this, and I love doing this, you know what I'm saying? But one of my best friends, who I'm still friends with today, but I'll be honest with you, we all have that friend that says stupid shit, and I'm going to put it bluntly like that, because we do. We all can relate to this. He goes, Mike, how do you do it? And I go, what do you mean, man? And he goes, like, how do you interview adult stars? I'm like I interview anybody. We're all people. We're all people in this life like I do anybody. Treat them with respect, talk about your career. So it's just amazing just to see what you come across and the questions that you get. So like I said, what we all do is an art, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And I get that. I get like, well, how did you do that? How do you have sex with other people? And like people are always like, the people who learn that I've done adult film, right? Like even like even the last year, like by choice, like I opted to like not film any new content, and I just cammed and things and kind of laid low. And the people, when it came out that I had done like adult film and stuff, and people were like, what? So what, you're a sex addict? What the hell? Like, the questions are just ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you're not like, they kind of like compare you to like, all right, now this is dating it back here. So MTV's True Life, which there was an episode,
exactly.
They did an episode on a guy who was a sex addict. And I'm just like, these are things that happen. People are sex addicts, but people who do the adult entertainment industry, not all of them, are sex addicts, I mean, it's just, it is what it is. And for personally, there's nothing wrong with it. You make a living, as long, I mean, you get tested. There's a lot of work that goes into the scene. So it's just like, there's a lot of misconceptions about what people do in the adult entertainment industry and overall adult work. So I hear you.
Yeah, absolutely. About us being sex addicts, I was like, what is a sex addict? Like to me, like it, addiction is a harmful behavior, and I don't see, like, I'm not saying that there aren't people in the porn industry who exhibit harmful behaviors, but and they should get help. But at the same time, there are people in everyday life who also exhibit those behaviors, and to be an addict, and like usually that has to be like a harmful behavior, and making a film to me is not necessarily a harmful thing, but like, if you're buying like strippers and doing blow off her ass in the alley, like you should probably get help. Maybe you are a sex addict, but I don't know that that pertains to, very many porn stars these days. I think, most of them are, very mindful of their bodies, and they have personal relationships, and it's a job for them, and it's a craft, it's an art form. Porn has come a really long way, and I'm a huge fan of like old school, like 70s 80s porn, where there was like a storyline and all of those things before it was more of the instant gratification that it's become. But like there was a time where porn was actually an art form, it was like a real movie.
It's funny that you actually bring that up because I was going to get to that point here in the show. So
Yeah.
let's jump into it now. So what's interesting is I had, for those that know Ginger Lynn's awesome. She was in Kinky Business, like the parody of Risky Business. It was actually movies, the storyline, like you mentioned, and a lot of people refer to the '80s as like the golden age of porn. And then like it's funny because I remember like the first ever, I think, movie, because the first ever actual website, I don't even know if it still existed, but as a young 13-year-old male going into puberty, hello, hormones raging, the first ever website I came across was like girlshuntinggirls.com, and it was like just girls in a van hunting girls, and then they would have sex. So it's like, okay, there we go, simple enough, but still there's not a lot of substance there. So, and I remember, okay, do you remember Spider Babe that came out in 2002? This was like when Spider-Man, the first one, was like really big. They came out with like Spider Babe, and it's like, all right, we get it. It's like it's Spider-Man just with sex. So it's just like, yeah, watching that and watching like an 80s porn, it's different. I totally understand that part.
Yeah, but like when I was growing up, my dad had this collection of tapes that were on the very, very top of the closet. Like my parents had like a three, like closets are so different now than they are. Like my parents had this like three-tier closet, and they were on the very, very top shelf. And they were like these girls were really attractive. They had good hair. Everything was natural. They had bush, but they could speak. They had like storylines, and they were like genuinely like, girls who would get into these situations. And I always like thought they were just like the hottest thing ever. Like obviously like the limo driver doesn't try to bang you like in real life. Well, maybe he does, but like, she would get into this situation and she'd be really well spoken and made up, and it was like she just was like in the mood and in the right time. And I always thought that that was the coolest thing. Like I really, really love old school porn for that reason. Like I just think it's so hot. Like the dialogue is hot. Like, people actually took time and passion behind their work. There was like an entire movie behind this, and they just had sex. It just happens.
Of course, I mean, you see how, like, whether it's shot in, like, for instance, like the shower or like a bedroom, whatever, you see like the raw passion that is those films. I mean, you know what it is too. Like when you see like Vivid puts out those like porn parodies of like what's going on like in today's realm. It's like, okay, we get it, but it's just like, yeah, again, it's no comparison to like what you actually see at the films. It's kind of like The Eye. It's like, are you really watching it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, to make another pop culture reference. I know we're all over the place with this, but look at Bob Ross, God rest his soul. When you watch The Joy of Painting, you know that Bob Ross is loving what he's doing. He starts up with like a speck, and then we get mountains, and then we get lakes and rivers and whatever we get on there, but you could tell just the passion of what he's doing with his craft there. If that, I know that's
Yeah.
a weird analogy, but yeah, I kind of tied it in.
Yeah, but it totally works, and like that's kind of like the kind of porn that I want to make moving forward. Like I want like a really cool storyline, even if it's like weird and bizarre, and it like, but not where it's very tongue in cheek, where it's like, oh my god, are you my brother? No way, like, like and not that kind of crap.
Yeah. Oh, please, you're bringing back memories, which is because there are a lot of films that are
I
like that.
know there's like so many films where it's like she can say like three, four, five things at the most. Oh my god, daddy, whatever.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna suck your dick.
it's that's pretty much the basis of the scene.
And then that's like the whole storyline. It's like okay, we get it. You're hot for your dad, but we've seen this like 50 times. It's like, could you say anything else besides that?
It's kind of like, all right, now I'm
Oh my
really.
god, it's so big.
It's kind of like, all right, so this is like mid 2000s for me. So it's like there was a website. I don't even know. Like I said, I don't even know if these still exist, just because it's been a while. I'm like, there was a site called BigSausagePizza.com. It's like, we get it. They deliver the pizza, and you're gonna have sex. Like that. That's pretty much the basis. And there's like a hole in the pizza. Like, get it? Because the sausage for the penis, for
Yeah,
the dick. So it's like, okay, after like the first scene, we get it. You're gonna do more of these. We get it. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that.
exactly.
So yes, but yes, Golden Age cannot beat it. You know what I'm saying? And I think this, for me, it kind of takes me back to watching like HBO when you have like Cat House the series and stuff like that. Like, and for,
Absolutely, the real sex series. I don't know, like I don't know. Like
Yep.
that was a long time ago. The Real Sex series was amazing.
It was. And then also, like, I think for me, just again as a teenager, when like your parents go to sleep and it's like you put on HBO or Cinemax at like 2 or 3
Real.
o'clock in the morning. Yes. It's like, hey. But those were like the memories that you have. And then just, yeah. So, and like I said, like you say, talking about, if you thought this would take off in the adult entertainment industry, did I think, like, growing up, like, I'd wanted to get into podcasting, interview all these people in different forms, including the adult entertainment industry? And I always say this to people, I'm like, you don't know if you ask. Just be professional, be kind, and just ask. What's the worst that they're going to say? No, you know what I'm saying? So, I hear you. Just putting out that great quality and content.
Exactly. It's all about just being passionate about what you're into. And, especially in the entertainment medium, like there's so many, like there really is like endless opportunities and things as long as you apply yourself in the right way. Like it doesn't matter what kind of entertainer you are. And if you take control over your career, you really can do whatever you want. You can put out whatever you want and people want to see it.
And you know what it is too, like me, like I'm big on music videos. So when I see like your OnlyFans, and whether you're dressed like a doctor, whether you're in the bath, whether you're just doing what you do, and you're having fun, or you're dressed like a nurse or a schoolgirl. And for me, like when I was a kid, like Britney Spears, I mean, oh my God, hit me baby one more time. She's dressed as a schoolgirl. Everybody was nuts because she was looking all hot and the choreography behind the schoolgirl. So I think just whatever also outfit you put on, I think that's cool, and you look good doing it from the modeling aspect. So again, much props to you on that front.
Yeah, I definitely like. I just love I really love OnlyFans and things like that, and I really encourage, especially with like the crackdown of social media right now. Like social media is a really really tough avenue. Like I had a really good Twitter account before, and 14,000 plus followers. When I did Jeff's Models, we were already at like 5,000 followers before I did my first scene with Jeff's Models. I remember, the first time that like I actually like introduced myself as doing porn and not being on my free cams girl was the J. Cruz cock was like, he was like, oh, I was like, oh, we should take a selfie. And he was like, dude, so you should like put your, and he kind of guided me and he held the camera. And that was like the very first photo that everyone on social media that was like, hey, I'm doing my first adult film. Which was a shocking to fans because for the longest time I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to do adult film, or maybe I'll just do girl on girl. And like, there was a lot of back and forth about whether or not I would make an adult film. Because like camming is so much fun. Like I love interacting with my friends. I love to cam. I love OnlyFans, but with the Instagram and the Twitter and the shutting down of accounts that the performers like myself are having. I mean, I have my Twitter account shut down at 14,000. I've been really lucky that so far my Instagram has been safe, but who knows for how much longer.
Exactly, and you actually see a lot of that with guidelines with social media, with shutting down, like you mentioned, Twitter and Instagram. And personally, I'll be honest with you, and I've said this to a lot of the adult stars I've had on this show, it's like I've seen like much worse stuff that's out there. I mean, you guys, it's tame, it's nice. You got like your outfits or like a bikini shot or even something like it's like, and then you just get shut down like that.
Yeah, I mean, I had stuff on my Instagram that was flagged that was like more than a year old. Like it was just like random stuff that I've had flagged, and I was like, dude, this has been on my account for more than a year. And the sudden shutting down of my Twitter, it's like I have seen so many things on Twitter, and I still like, we're slowly but surely rebuilding my Twitter account. And at first I was like, fuck it, I don't need Twitter. And after it got shut down, it actually was shut down for about 6 months before I even thought about rebuilding it. And it was like, I shot with a pure BBW, Christian XXX site, and,
Mm-hmm.
we did a lot of other things, and I continued to webcam and stuff, but like kind of on the, like, I don't know, I want to say on the low, like if you're a fan, then you know how to like get in touch and follow me and how to connect. But for a while it was just like, fuck it, I don't need Twitter, I don't need any of this social media crap. And sometimes like the other entertainers are vicious. Like social media is definitely a tough platform. It's tough to promote your business. I don't know how much it really does help. I think for some people it maybe it is really successful, but I think we're seeing mediums like OnlyFans and things where, there's actually kind of a safety net for the performer, and you can post what you want to post, and, people can follow it and enjoy it. Obviously, there's a subscription fee in it. That's, fans have to be mindful of the fact that, it takes a village to make that content. Like, it really is not, something that one can lay down in like 2 minutes. And when you're producing your own content, like, there's time and there's money involved and there's outfits and clothes and shoes and makeup and,
Of course. And
So asking you to pay like a subscription fee as opposed to you getting it for free, definitely like you're just supporting the model so she can continue to create really good content. So you have to look at it as that way. You're kind of supporting what you love, kind of like when you subscribe to a TV channel, your music stream, whatever it is. You have to kind of see it kind of as a form of entertainment in which you enjoy. But it is really sad to see, performers like myself, getting shut down from Twitter and then Instagram. Like I've never have had a Facebook page, at least not for my porn stuff. But it definitely is, as we get into the new year and the crackdowns on that, and then I live in California, so the AB5 law, it's definitely going to be an interesting year to see how that changes adult film and as a whole.
of course, and I'll be honest with you. I look at like what you're doing right now. Personally, I can't wait just to see what else comes from you. And also, like you mentioned, like the pure BBW stuff. And Christian Triple X is a name that's synonymous right now with the adult entertainment industry. I gotta say this, with researching and doing a lot of work looking at Jeff's models and the films you've done. Like I love the Jessica Lust films. I've loved a lot of the films that you've done, pure BBW and whole nine. I gotta say, some of those threesome scenes, they just came out very, very well.
Yeah, they definitely were a lot of fun. And it's funny, like the very first time I did a threesome was with Christian and Jessica Last. And then when I worked with Lady Cakes, with Jeff's models, that was super fun. Like she was just the sweetest girl on the planet. And she was so, so, so cute. Like it's funny, like I never see myself as like I'm super low key as a person, and I never see myself as like famous. But like when other models like her like make over me or like fans do, I'm always like, wow, really? But she was so, so cute. When she came, she like sent me a message on Twitter and she was like, oh my God, I'm coming to LA. I'm a shoot with Jeff. She goes, would you shoot a scene with me? And I was like, she was so cute. And I was just like, absolutely. Just tell Jeff.
So
And that's how I did work with her. But she was the cutest thing ever. Like she was just so sweet and so excited, and and when I worked with Thelma Voodoo, the same deal with her. She was just adorable. Like some of these girls are just like, and I never even would see myself as like a person who is like famous or whatever, but when these girls are making over me, I'm just like, oh my God, you're just equally as famous, and it's so cute.
I think what's great about you is like when you're talking about these scenes and just how cute they were, and just I think you kind of like resonate, and a lot of adult stars do this, and I'm gonna correlate and tie in this with you here, Danny. I think you all resonate and you evoke a lot of emotions, and I think that's what makes you guys great for just the well speaking and just like the intelligence that a lot of you have from the modeling aspect and the artwork that you put in with the films. So I think it really resonates and generates.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing. I mean, people think porn stars are stupid, and they're not necessarily stupid. They actually are really smart because they're using all of their assets to pay the bills. I mean, nothing is smarter than that.
Exactly. And that's the thing, too. I think that's another thing that pissed me off because there's a lot of misconceptions with all different types of works. I got to say, you know what it is, too, just whether it be modeling or what have you, there's a lot of smart people that know what they're doing. Like you mentioned, the assets part of it. And we go back to the voluptuosity factor that I mentioned. You have it. A lot of great girls have it. I think that's what makes the industry not just fun, but also it's the camaraderie. There's a sense of camaraderie factor in there with everybody that works together.
I think in some ways there's definitely cattiness.
Yes, of course.
Sometimes it's very much like high school. Like I will tell you, it's very much high school at times. But I think when you find that clique of people that you connect with, and you can work together, and like as I'm getting ready to like build my own website and things like that and start my own production company, it's definitely about finding that camaraderie with people that I know and have connected with, and those are the people that I want to work with, the guys who will meld talent with me, and we become this kind of like hybrid family, which is really kind of fun. And that's what I've had with Jeff's models, and I've had when I worked with Christian, like like I have had this great connection with them and with the talent that I worked with at Jeff's models, and it never felt like it was work. Which is the best job ever. It's like anytime that what you're doing is actually fun and you're passionate about it, and then it doesn't feel like work and you're getting paid. It's always a win-win situation.
It is, and I think that's just an equation for success. And I got to say this to you because we're talking about. I know I think everybody. We all love sex. We all male, female, what have you. What you're doing in the industry, but I got to do it just because. And God rest his soul. I got to make the George Michael reference. Sex is natural. Sex is good, and everybody does what everybody should. Sex is natural. Sex is fun. Sex is best when it's one-on-one. I just had to say that. There's my nerdiness coming in. So, Miss Danni Dawson, I got to say before we even close out here, I got to say it's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege talking tonight. So I'm gonna make the overture right now. Anytime you want to come back on the show, you're more than welcome to.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You are very welcome. Now, you gave great advice for people that want to get into the adult entertainment industry, but before I have you plug social media, any events, what have you, and give you the floor, I also just want to give you the floor and also ask, do you have any final words for the fans that have been supporting you throughout your journey within the adult entertainment industry?
My God, my fans have been amazing. Like, I have never been more loved and more like some of the guys are like first day my free cams guys. Like, it's crazy to see how we've grown together and bonded together, and like I'm so grateful to my fans. Like, it doesn't matter like if I'm having a bad day or whatever, one of them will always have something supportive to say. They will support, they'll buy a video, something. Like, my fans are amazing. Like, I've never been more thankful for them. And like I said, I had no idea that it would take on a life of its own.
Well, I gotta say it has, and the future is bright for you, Miss Danni Dawson. So, ladies first, but please promote social media, Instagram, Twitter, where everybody can find you and just any upcoming events. Just the floor is yours. Please go ahead, right ahead, and promote.
I'm going to be at the AVNs. You heard it here first. I will be at the AVNs the Friday and Saturday. I'm coming back to LA on Sunday, so don't try to have me on Sunday. But the Friday and Saturday will be at the AVN convention in Las Vegas. You can find me on Twitter at Miss Danni Dawson on Twitter. Please follow me. Please follow me. Please follow me. As I had my account suspended at 14K. Danni_Dawson on Instagram, the account that has survived, thankfully. And then, of course, the links to my OnlyFans, my mini vids, Cam Soda. I do private Skype sessions, so it's easy to get in touch with me.
The links will be in the description below this SoundCloud audio. I don't mean to laugh, but
it just becomes like with OnlyFans and everything, it just becomes like so many things, right?
Exactly, but you know what it is too? Besides that, because I actually get that same response to the promoters, like, yeah, I'm here, I'm there. It's like, because there's so much, like the cam sodas and stuff with Cam, but I just was cracking up at the Instagram that survived. I like that. I like how you phrased that.
My Instagram has survived, and I'm very thankful that so far it has survived, but who knows what tomorrow will bring. And at the end of the day, it's like, if it gets shut down, it gets shut down, I think.
Trtle. But I gotta say,
I don't have much control over that.
Exactly. But I gotta say this to you, as far as the AVNs go, please have fun and safe travels.
Absolutely. Like, I've been to AVNs before. This will be my second AVNs. I didn't go last year, but I went the year before, and it was fun. Like, it's always fun to just like mingle and wander around and, you know, see what other people are doing. Like, I'm not like, I love my fans, but I'm more of like, I like being more of a spectator and less an attention whore. Like of a good way to put it. So you won't find me at any booth or whatever, but if you see me wandering around, feel free to say hi.
I was about to say, very blunt on the attention whore thing. Nice. Nice. But
yeah,
yes.
I don't even know how to put it in a way where it's not like, I'm just super low key, and you know, I don't want to be like at a booth, and I'm not going to any certain, you know.
But you see, I can respect that, just because, like, if somebody wants to get hello, take a picture, that's fine, that's cool. So yeah, I like it. Keeping a low profile, a down low, if you will.
Yeah, like I'm just like that as a person. Like, I don't, like, I'm just super low key, and I'm just having a good time, and like nothing is more fun than, you know, just people watching and mingling. And you know, there were plenty of people when I went my first year who were like screaming at me across the casino floor, and you know, running into other talent and stuff. Like, there was plenty of times where I was able to like meet fans and other talent and people who knew me, who maybe I didn't know, and I was able to connect. And I didn't feel like I needed to be like, you know, at a booth or with any one company or anything. I just want to go and have a good time and enjoy myself. It's Vegas, baby.
Exactly. Vegas, baby. Viva Las Vegas. The 702, where my girl's at from the front to back. I'll take it back to 99 there.
Okay.
Yes, I digress. But
badass still, even to this day.
Yes. So, AVNs, enjoy yourself. I'm going to say this right now, people. please follow Danni Dawson. She's a beautiful human being, inside and out, lovely human being. I personally cannot wait to have you back on the show in the future. So I'm just going to say this and end it on this. I appreciate your time. It's been a pleasure and privilege, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
You are very welcome. So for Danni Dawson, my name is Mike Larkin. This concludes another edition of On the Mic with Mike. I will be back with you next time on the Mic with Mike. Signing off. See you later, and I'll talk to you next time.